साला चप्पल पहनने से मैंने बताया था आपको।
कितने हुआ?
नहीं, इसमें वो लगा लिया ना मैंने, बोरो प्लस लगाया हुआ, ठीक हो गया पहले से, तो दोनों पैरों में हो गया। अब दूसरी चप्पल पहनी मैंने, और चैंटिंग बुक दी। कौन सा पढ़ना ही है? मंगलसूत्र 125 की। हाल को बारिश से हाल करो। कुछ कैसे पारो जय मंगल ठीक है। कल पेजेस पर चली गई।
देख लो।
नहीं इसमें
पीछे
बहुत
कुछ कष्ट नहीं
करा नीचे से पता है क्या मालूम
है याद थोड़ा ना होगा किस पेज पे है।
जय मंगल वाला चाहिए तो में सुई उसी से
खराब है सब करे मैड बस क्या कहूँ कितना इतनी बार मैंने कहा नहीं वो ज़्यादा टाइम लगता कहा नहीं तो मैंने कहा मंगलसूत्र पढ़ेंगे। खुद ही कैसे
आपने चेंज क्या लिखा है ऊपर ना जय मंगल सूत्री और मंगल हुई से
मान का
आज दिल
नमस्ते।
Evening chanting, page 14. योऽसो भगवा अर्हं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो स्वाखातो येन भगवता धम्मो सुपटिपन्नो यस्य भगवतो सावकसङ्घो तमयं भगवन्तं सधम्मं ससङ्घम् इमे सकारि यथार्हम् आरोपिते अभिजयाम साधुनो भन्ति भगवा शुचिरपरिनिभृतोऽपि पश्चिमा जनतानुकम्पमानसा इमे सकारि दुगतपणाकारभूति पटिगृह्णातु अम्हाकं दीगरतं हिताय सुखाय अर्हं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तम् अभिवादेमि स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो सङ्घं नमामि हन्तमयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो पुब्बभाग नमकारं करोमसि नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स हन्तमयं बुद्धानुसतिनयं करोमसि तं खोपन भगवन्तम् एव कल्याणोऽकिति सद्यो अभुगतो इति पिसो भगवा अर्हं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरणसम्पन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरुषदं सारथि सत्ता देवमनुष्ठानं बुद्धो भगवाति हन्तमयं बुद्धाभिगीतिं करोमसि बुद्धवार्हन्तवरतादिगुणभियुतो शुद्धाभियान करुणा समागततो बोधेसियो सुजनतं कमलं वसुरो वन्दामहं तमरणं शिरसा जिनेन्दं बुद्धो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं हेममुत्तमम् पठमानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहम् बुद्धस्सास्मि दासीव बुद्धो मे सामिकिस्सरो बुद्धास्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि बुद्धस्यैव सुबोधितं नत्ति मे शरणम् अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्डेयं सत्तु शासने बुद्धं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं पशुतम् इदं सभ्येऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषु तस्य तेजसा हन्तमयं धम्मानुसतिनयं करोमसि स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो सन्दिट्ठिको अकालिको एहि पस्सिको ओपनयिको पच्चत्तं वेदितव्यो विन्योहीति हन्तमयं धम्माभिगीतिं करोमसि स्वाखाततादिगुणयोगवसेयो यो मार्गपाकपर्यतिविमोखभेदो धम्मो कुलोकपतन तदधारिधारी वन्दामहं तमरं वरद ममेतं धम्मो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं द्वितीयानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहम् धम्मस्साहस्मिदासीव धम्मो मे सामिकिस्सरो धम्मास्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि धम्मस्यैव सुधम्मतं नत्ति मे शरणम् अन्यं धम्मो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्ढेयं सत्तु शासने धम्मं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं पशुतम् इदं सभ्येऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषु तस्य तेजसा हन्तमयं सङ्घानुसतिनयं करोमसि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगानि अट्ठपुरुषपुद्गला एष भगवतो सावकसङ्घो आहुनेयो पाहुने दक्षिणेयो अञ्जलिकरणे अनुत्तरं पुण्यकीर्तं लोकस्ताति हन्तमयं सङ्घाभिगीतिं करोमसि सधम्मजो सुपटिपत्तिगुणादियुतो यो अष्टविधो अरियपुङ्गसङ्घसेठो शीलादिधम्मपवरा सयकाय चित्तो वन्दामहं तमरियान गणं सुशुद्धं सङ्घो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं तदीयानुसतिष्ठान वन्दामि तं शिरेनहम् सङ्घस्सास्मि दासीव सङ्गो मे सामिकिस्सरो सङ्घासहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि सङ्घस्सोपटिपन्नतं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यं सङ्घो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्ढेयं सत्तु शासने सङ्घं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं पशुतं विद सभ्येऽपि अन्तराया मे मायेषुं तस्य तेजसा पेज 125
हिंदी हिंदी
मंगल सूत्र
हिंदी चैंटिंग बुक का ना
हिंदी चैंटिंग बुक 125 पेज मंगल सूत्र
Connected to OnePlus 3G.
Asevanacha bharanan mandidanan jasevana puja japujaniyanan etam mangalamuttamang bhatiropade savaso japunde Chakata punyata hata samma panilicha etam mangalamutamang bahusa chanjase panjavinayo jasusikito subhasita jaya vaja etam mangalamutamang mata pitu padanang buddhatara Sangho anagula jakamanda etam mangalamutamanggalan jadamacariya janyatakanan jasangho anawajani kammani etam mangalamutamanggarati vilati papa majapana Sanyamo apamado jadamme suetam mangalamuttamangalawo chanivato jasantu te jakatang yuttakalena dhamma savanang etam mangalamuttamanghanti jaso vajasata samananam jata sanang halena dhamma sakata etam mangalamuttamang tapo jaramacariyan jahariya sacana sanang nirvana sacakiriya jahetam mangalamuttamang bhuta saloka dhamme hitetang yasanakam bati asokang wirajang kemang etam mangalamuttamang etadisani katwana sabha tammaparajita sabata sotingga candikante sang mangalamuttamang
1 plus 3T, disconnected, ready to pair. Connected to 1 plus 3T.
Today we'll be starting our series on Satipatthana Sutta by Mr. Rodney Smith, a very distinguished and senior teacher of meditation, was a former monk in Burma and Thailand. So today we have one of the introductory talks, which talks about the selfless application. It's basically introduction to Satipatthana. He has given a long introduction over 12 different talks, so I have taken out a few from them.
So we are investigating, looking at this very, very important sutta. It's called the Satipatthana Sutta. Sati is mindfulness, Patthana is foundation, the foundations of mindfulness. And we haven't even opened the door to it. In fact, we haven't even put our hand on the door latch. We're still standing at the door, kind of letting the appearance of what this sutta means and preparing ourselves to enter. And I think the most important aspect of this sutta is the preparation for it. I think we are a very engaged and active and productive culture. And we like nothing more than to get in there and start attending to the exercises and focusing on the productivity and application so we could start checking off the various forms and expressions that this sutta encourages. And we could check off, I don't know, there are something like 16 or so exercises in this sutta. And can't wait to get to the graveyards and look at the decomposing corpses. And on and on. And I think that it's probably better to pause here, and to really ask whether that's the right way to enter expose ourselves to this application of mindfulness, because it's the application is just the sawing of the wood. It's the doing of the practice, but it doesn't carry the guidance system for the practice. It's like a rudderless boat. You just are adrift without the guidance system. And even to understand how compelled we are towards the activity of something, rather than engaging it with some understanding and some wisdom. I see this in myself a lot, where I'll set up a whole checklist of activities for myself on Saturday because I couldn't get to them any other day. And then my whole day is filled with this checklist. And if there's a gap in there, I fill it with some other form of activity. And I was seeing that this weekend. I thought, wait a second here. What am I teaching? What am I doing here? Why is the sense of me so compelled into my doing, into my activity, into getting the application done, into checking off the list? What is that about? And is it obscuring something that's vitally important? And at that moment, wisdom won out. And I just thought, what is it like not to do here? What is it like to put a pause here? And to deliberately relinquish any form of activity, and therefore self-usefulness. That's the important point. You see, as we start moving into this sutta, we have to know what we're in line with. And if we're trying to build upon our sense of self and to make our practice meaningful in disciplined terms, or in constructive, or in exercising, or in productive terms, we're going to miss the boat. If we're not willing to stop in the course of our day and really ponder what a direct, abiding attention to life is like, rather than an activity that interfaces between life, that keeps myself very informed within my activity and very future-oriented about where that activity is going to lead, but never settling down to actually allow life to rub, to be exposed to in the raw forms of life. Just what's life in this moment. And the only way we can ever get to that, what is life in this moment, is by releasing the need to do. And you get this sense that we keep ourselves in the shell, in a kind of chatter of activity. One of the lessons I learned in teaching new people was the hardest homework I would ever give anyone was to tell them to only do one thing at a time, where they were brushing their teeth and doing nothing else. And inevitably they would come back after I had given that homework and say, I can't do this. I just can't do that. Have me do this, or follow my breath, or do walking meditation. I can do that, but don't have me I can't do this. So we're up against an immense challenge, an inward compulsion to keep ourselves going and to keep ourselves informed of ourselves. And the way we keep ourselves informed of our own image, within our own image, and to keep ourselves building upon that image is through the constructions we make in life. And now we're faced with a construction of enormous proportion, which is the exercises for the doing of our freedom. We had better know how we're orienting ourselves to this sutta, or we will become self-compelled and therefore self-fulfilled, but we will not align ourselves in the proper orientation of what the sutta is supposed to do, which is to show us the selflessness, is to uncover the very emptiness of self. So this is, to start this sutta any other way I think would be a mistake. And we have to also understand where this sutta is taking us. That there is the egoic consciousness, and that's the consciousness that contains the image and the constant narrative and commentary of myself as I march through life, which holds a kind of calcified position, a separate and very isolated position from everything else, as I'm talking to myself about what I see and about what I do. It gives me a very strong sense of distance and isolation within life. That's where we begin, the egoic state of consciousness, the consciousness that feels very isolated from all other things. That's the beginning point. To the awakened state, which is the complete abiding in life, without any screen or partition or obscuration between ourselves and life. Now, all of Dharma practice and all of any spiritual tradition that is genuine moves us from that egoic state to the natural awakened state. That's what it's supposed to do. But if we think that the awakened state is something that we can build or cultivate from our own sense of doing, we have misunderstood or misrepresented what is we naturally abide in at all times. And I think the important point when we align ourselves with a sutta of doing, of application, is to understand the principles before we start doing. And that principle very strongly states, in Zen it's called the Buddha nature within us, that awakened state is not something that we have to manufacture or cultivate, that is intrinsic to each and every person. And what we have done to the awakened state is obscured it with our thinking, with our constant reflective narrative about everything that we do. And that reflective narrative just skews, just distorts ourselves sufficiently so that we can't perceive the awakened state. What we perceive is ourselves acting within life rather than life acting within us. And so all of this has been, it's a misperception. So when we start going into the sutta with our guns blazing, let us understand what we're trying to do. We're trying to release the tensions of life that are already on top of us, that we're already creating that distortion. We're not trying to achieve something other than to release the obscuration that keeps us from that natural state in and of itself. So that's a very important understanding to have before we get involved with the sutta as well. So the pause is important, and that pause, I would like to suggest, can be applied throughout the day. Just call yourself back, just here. And don't do it as a command, do it as an adventure. Do it to see what value life is holding in the non-doing of that moment, as opposed to what life is offering in the cultivation and the productivity of our normal and active life. There's a certain thing we get out of our activity, and there's another thing that we get out of our presence, of our awareness. And we have to like one better than the other to ever change the disposition or move from one to the other. So two things are going on simultaneously. One is that we are learning the value of the awakened state on its own terms, not for what it can do to me, but what the feeling of being interconnected is, the delight of wonder of being interconnected. That's the first thing. And the second thing we are doing as we are moving into these exercises is learning the limitation of the way that we have normally lived within the trance of our own thought, and how that sense of isolation has provided a strong sense of egoic dominance, but has not allowed me to feel connected or to feel heart-drawn or intimate with life at all. And so we learn our way out of one towards the other. And it's a very slow journey out of one into the other, it seems to be, and what you think would be very quickly, as we felt the benefits of a life of awakening and we saw the limitations of the life of thinking. You would think that we would be drawn very quickly out of one, but it's not. It's much more, I don't know, it's much more like giving birth to ourselves. And so that for most people it's a journey of some duration. But it need not be that way. One of the reasons that it isn't is that we're not willing to give up on ourselves so quickly. We still think that we just haven't milked it in the right way. We haven't forced the right environmental situations together for us to have the prominence that we think we deserve and can benefit from. And so we're constantly trying to work life on our behalf so that we can feel egoically what we really want to feel, which is the predominance, which is the dominion of what it would be to be on top of life and be the monarch of life. And we do that all day long. We constantly do that through our activity. We're looking for a better me, a more refined me. Now we can get into this sutta in exactly that same way. We can get into that sutta looking for a way to improve upon ourselves, to make this sense of self more embellished, to have a stronger sense of self-identity around the proficiency of our exercises. So we have to be very careful here. This is slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. But I'm not just talking about these exercises. I'm talking about a way to live. I hope everybody realizes that. If you teach yoga, and I know some of you are yoga teachers, how do you teach yoga? Do you teach it as a gymnastic experience? You teach it as a muscle building, health providing, or do you teach it as a union, as an interconnectedness? As a way to move into our bodies and connecting with our bodies in different motions, and thereby connect to the earth itself beyond the body. So it can be done either way. You see, in a simple method like yoga, you can make it into a cultural, self-based, biased system, or you can make it into a spiritual system. And it's up to the teacher. It's not up to the student. They'll just follow you no matter what you do. They think you know. So how do we teach it, you see? What we would really like to hear is that we want to self-improve ourselves to enlightened state. We'd love that, because that would give us all the power in the world to remain who we are and then proclaim our enlightenment on some kind of certification. It just doesn't work that way, though. And if you want to try to work it that way, you're welcome to do that. And then I'm here to pick up the pieces when you fall apart on it, because that's what's going to happen. So there's a humility. There's a humility all along the way here that has to be kind of a given in this. And a kind of wonderment, and not a sophistication, a Dharma sophistication, like you know what's going on. I know all about yoga. I know the Pantajani, all the breath and all that. I don't know a thing about this. I keep reading it and I go, what in the hell does he mean by that? I really don't know. Nobody does, though. How can anybody know? He lived 2,500 years ago. He didn't tell anybody. He just said it, and then everybody puts their interpretation on it. So you get my interpretation, right? It's a good one, though. So most of us have found our foundation. When we're looking at the foundations of mindfulness, that's fine, but most of us have found our foundation already. The foundation is the truth of me. That's our foundation. That's what we have asserted through our opinions and our judgments and our everyday life. I mean, just look. How do you ever escape yourself? Do all experiences come into you? It's just being reinforced moment after moment by virtually every expression of life. It's coming into you. It's like everything meets at your vertex, and everything has something to say about you. Everything, it's a totally identified and egocentric life that most of us live, isn't it? We're at the center of all the circles of life. Everything hubs around us. Like the old world systems, everything went around the world, went around the earth. All the orbits of the planets went around. Well, it's all going around us. So that's our foundation. That's where we're starting with this thing. And first we have to admit that that's what the situation is that we don't seem to be able to get out of ourselves. And we feel that we should be able to get out of ourselves, so we work it very diligently to try to get out of ourselves, but the trying to get out of ourselves takes us back into ourselves, and we are left feeling remiss in the work we've done, because it all comes back into us in sharper focus as we try to get out of ourselves. So the very attempt to relieve the pain of ourselves creates more personal pain. See, this is very tricky. Very tricky. We better know what we're doing. First thing is to take an assessment of the landscape of what this situation is like from this perspective, not try to get out of the perspective. Let's just see if this perspective, what is it like to live within this perspective? You know, that everything is coming in this kind of narrowed, focused way to a sense of I. And what we have taken to be the truth of I, that foundation, is the assumed posture we take. We don't ever question that assumption. We just assume that to be a fact. I am here. The world is out there. Now let's get on with it. So all of these exercises, all of the Satipatthana Sutta is supposed to do is to undermine that placement, that entrenched assumption of me, that firm foundation of self. It's to call that into question, not to build more muscles of self, not to solidify it, not to reinforce it, but to call it into question. And to do that, we have to go very tenderly into this thing. We're not, anytime we try to get over ourself, that's the self trying to do is trying to eliminate itself from. The self loves to try to be its own executioner. You see, that keeps us that's a heart, because, you know, now you're. But you can't do it. So what is there? What can we call in? See, this is where the Buddha, this is his true gift. You see, what do you call in when you can't call your own force of effort? When you can't call your own volitional effort, your own will towards your self-understanding, to undermine yourself, to see what's under you. What do you call in? What resources do we have? And some traditions say, oh, you know, the truth is there's no way to get to it, and they just put a full stop. Well, the Buddha, he gave us something. Perhaps the first time in history, he offered an application towards the understanding of self. And he did this through mindfulness. Mindfulness is a very tricky, very, very tricky procedure, practice. We take this thing called attention, which seems to be coming from me, seem to be coming from me, don't they? Like my voice and everything. So when we start our mindfulness, it seems to be mine. We claim ownership to it. And we start applying it to everything. And now you have mindfulness for cognitive therapies, and you know, you have it for, if you have depression, apply mindfulness. If you are obsessive compulsive, there's a mindfulness therapy. Mindfulness-based cognitions are everywhere. Therapists are using it now, you know, it's like, but they're doing it from a sense of self. They're doing it from themselves, from their own empowerment. And so there's something missing in the application of mindfulness that has you as its maker, as its producer, as the person who's doing it. And this is where 99% of all mindfulness falls. And it's the hardest lesson to learn in any spiritual practice. The hardest. You have to question the very personhood itself who is using mindfulness. And mindfulness is just knowing what's occurring. It's just a simple attention, contact with something. It says, and we think that if we just bring contact to something, that somehow will end the problem. No, but all it does is it shines a light around. If I had a flashlight and shined a light around, would that end your problem? It just shines a light around. It doesn't shine a light. It shines a light on this or that. Or you can shine it on the body if you want to. But if you hold the assumption of what that body is, never letting the light be able to see what anything new that it's shining upon, so that you hold the assumption wherever the light shines, you have the opinion of where it's lighting upon, then the mindfulness is being its point, which is to show us something new, something innocent, something bare and bare attention. Just what it is. Well, if we hold the assumption of what it is as we're carrying the light, the mindfulness is negated. You see? Because we already have a complete opinion about everything already. And so we have this light, and it says, oh yeah, you're you, you're me, and I've got this, and my anger, and we hold a whole attitude that we carry the light with, and the attitude is never questioned. It's the assumption of self never questioned. It's the light and where it's shining. And it does show us some things, and it clears up a lot. Just shining a light around shows you dirt that's in the corners and stuff like that. But it doesn't show us the basic mistake we're making, which is the person who's carrying the light. Now, do you want to go this way? You see? Or you're already waiting for the bell so you can get out of here? Because this is not easy. But if you want to go into truly a spiritual direction, you've got to ask questions about the basic assumptions on which you're already standing, which doesn't allow a peaceful and tranquil time. It's a very disconcerting time when you start pointing that light back on yourself and asking questions about yourself. That creates a lot of anxiety. We'd rather stand firmly as a person shining the light outward and deny that there's anything wrong here and look outside for the questions that we need to pose. But it's exactly the opposite of that is where we have to go. That's why this thing is for just the very few. Very few people really want that. They're afraid of what the light will expose, as if that wasn't already occurring, as if they were going to awaken some monster inside of them that wasn't already activated. We're just afraid to see the monster that's already there. But how are we going to work with this thing if we're afraid of the monster? If we want to keep denying the attention, then we'll stay unconscious. And staying unconscious is the problem. We have to want to see the monster in us. We need to want to see the rage, the passion, the lust. The annoyance, the morality, the judgment. We have to take this light and sober up. First we have to be very sober. See, that's what we're doing. We're sobering up before we open in this door of the Satipatthana Sutta. So it's a sobering time. Now we're taking this light, taking a deep sigh, and shining it backward. Because that's where this light goes. That's where all of these exercises ultimately reveal. Shine a light on the very perceiver, him or herself. So what is the true foundation? You see, I love that question. If the sense of self is a fabricated foundation, what's the true foundation? This thing says there are 4 foundations. First of all, those foundations aren't meant to be... They're simply places where we can rest our attention. We can abide our attention for exploration. And we'll go through each of those 4 foundations in the months ahead. But the question I'm asking is, if the sense of self isn't the real foundation of reality, what is the real foundation of reality? I hope that question stimulates something in you. Invites a kind of curiosity and interest, not terror, but interest. Like what is under all of this? And as we begin to get quieter, because whenever you ask a serious question, we're going to get quiet, aren't we? We're going to get curious, and our curiosity isn't going to lead to an elaborate response because we don't know. We don't know what lies under that. And when you genuinely don't know, and you're willing to discover something new, you get very quiet. Now that's the right way to enter this sutta. Not through, I'm going to use mindfulness to, really check the... It's to get quiet. Like, I don't know what this thing is. What is the body? I don't know. Been looking at it for 40 years. Been living with it for 63 years. I don't know what it is. Can't be known, really. But it's never a dull moment. Now, let us look at this thing for a moment. Let's look at some of the exercises that are being the invitation of the exercises that are lined up here in this sutta. And there are many exercises. There are active exercises where there's an active exploration or an activity involved in the exploration of the body. There's one called 32 Parts of the Body where you're moving your attention through the bones and the tissues and the pus and the really sinews and all of that. And through 32 parts of the body and making each one of those consciousness. So there are very active, engaged exercises, and there are very passive exercises where essentially you're resting in attention and just being completely choiceless and open in that attention. Then there are exercises that are meant to steady the attention. Now we love that one because the sense of self can bite down, can get some grip on that one, because it's scientific. It's like if I do more of this, my attention increases. So the graph of time over number of breaths I can follow is a line that goes in a positive direction. The more time I spend following my breath, the more breaths I can follow. I like that one because that puts me in charge, doesn't it? You see? So some of these things are going to bring us out, bring the sense of self out in terms of its accomplishment, and you'll see yourself getting stuck on those ones that you can self-embellish. And you'll find that you'll deny the other ones in which you're undermining that sense of self, and you'll find yourself moving towards, quite naturally, towards the one that can embellish you, so that you can be proud of it, so you can show people how many... See? See how I can do... I'm being silly, but inside, it's really the logic that sustains us in most of our practice. So there are exercises that bring that sense of self out because they are scientifically based and cultivated qualities of mind that can be nurtured. And there are, even one of the exercises says, follow your breath and build in a sense of calm with each breath. So we're actually deliberately cultivating a sense of calm. And you go, well, why is the Buddha doing that? Why is the Buddha asking us to cultivate some quality? Isn't that, knowing that I could get completely lost in this sense of calm and just keep cultivating it towards forever. And we have seen people, I know people who have gotten lost in their meditation, in their appreciation of calm. But what is it that the Buddha is talking about? Because when he founded this path, he also found a number of states of mind which were very helpful in coming to freedom. So what is that about? See, let's clear that up now before we enter this sutta so that we can get a sense of what's at that door when we open it. Well, if you look around and if you just notice that when you're calm, life becomes translucent. You can see it. When you're noisy, you can't see anything but the noise level of your mind. Can't you? So it's better to sit in an environment that doesn't have a lot of distraction. right? And it's also better to cultivate certain qualities of mind that allow us to be undistracted. So it's not meant, these states are not meant for goals, to be goals in and of themselves. They are meant to create an environment to be able to see. And it's the seeing that's important. And quiet, calm, tranquility, equanimity, patience, those are all settling states of mind that allow life to be toned down to in decibel level, so now you can perceive it. It's hard to do it in the middle of a party, or when you're drunk, or when other states are superimposed upon that quiet. So so if we get a sense that these are to aid our seeing, to aid our insight. They're not meant to be cultivated as I mentioned last week, as a as a search and find mission, like we were on some scavenger hunt. So when we understand, okay, so then there are some states, okay, so that's going to be in there. Just to understand how we're going to work with that when it does come up. Am I going to find, so when I start saying, okay, a breathing in calm, breathing out calm. I go, oh, this calm feels so good. Oh, wow, this is really nice. And I can just sustain it, and I can just nurture this calm, and it feels so good. This is really what I wanted out of life, was this beautiful sense of calm. Now, why do I ever want to go anywhere else but that? Well, the fact is you can't sustain it. So if it is not sustainable, you're going to have to come out of it. And what's life looks like when you're on the other side of it, outside the calm? Does it look like, all I want my life to be is calm? Well, then that's a definition of suffering. So if we move the definition of suffering into this sutta, you'll very quickly see when you are trying to cultivate states from the attached point of view, rather than just letting those states be and letting them nourish themselves, which they will. They don't need your encouragement to nourish them. Okay, so that's an important point to make. I'm just preparing us. It's like we're going out on this adventure. Does everybody have a pack? Do you have a tent? Do you have a sleeping bag? Do you bring food? So I want you to look at your pack and know what you got in there, because these things are very important as we move out as a group into this adventure called the Satipatthana Sutta. And some of them are they firm a connection with body and mind. He says, when you're standing, just know you're standing. When you're sleeping, know you're sleeping. When you're sitting, know you're sitting. And so all day long, the yogi, the person, the practitioner, has a connection, just that bare sense of connecting with something, right? It's like this, just warm touch to the cheek. It's just knowing that, okay, so I'm here. Just gentle. It's a gentle touching. It's a caress, really. It's a caressing, and it's the first phase of the ice sheet of self melting, is in that caress of awareness. And what we do, the sense of self, makes it into I'm not doing this well enough. Gosh, yesterday I was so much, and I don't even know I'm sitting now. And they make it into a comparison and a judgment and into a line of self-defeat. So know that that's not the way to go. Okay? Some of these exercises move us from a sense of personal attraction to a particular sense of revulsion, like going to the charnel grounds and looking at dead bodies. What it's supposed to do is balance the normal overextension we give the body and the beautification we offer the body, to balance it and see what it really is rather than what we try to beautify it to be. So there's this offsetting the balance of energies. in some of these exercises that we need to be aware of as well. So some of them have different ways of trying to bring us back into balance where we're overextended. Some of them show us how we have created our worldview. One of the foundations is in terms of the feeling tones, of the pleasant and unpleasant aspects of life, on which that, at one point the Buddha said, he realized his whole life had been driven by these feeling tones, and he had never understood that. And that when we start looking at the reasons we build and elaborate upon emotions or activities or anything that we do, is often simply the precursor of all of that was just a simple feeling tone of pleasant or unpleasant that we tried to nurture, we tried to prolong, we tried to embellish, and then we set out on a whole self-adventure just based upon a simple feeling tone. So we can begin to see how we construct all of life from this very simple elements that are present in every experience. Now, I want to look at two very important components. I haven't left myself enough time to really give them what I wanted to, but behind every exercise, there are certain applications of selflessness that need to be there. And if you want to assure that the applications of selflessness are intoned within the exercise, then we have to bring two qualities into every meditation. One of those qualities is bare attention, which I mentioned earlier. Bare attention is not opinionation. It's observation without opinionation. And the reason this is important is that the sense of self is built upon his or her opinions. When you know everything, when you have an opinion about everything, then the person who's opinionating is in a very secure and isolated position to the opinions that he or she is imposing. When we go in with bare attention, which is quiet attention, which in its purest, pristine state, attention is absolutely still. All it does, the only quality it holds, is that it reveals what it sees. But when something is revealed, what usually happens within the mind is that an opinion comes about when it sees something. And so the perception, the quiet perception of bare attention is immediately covered with an opinionation, with an aversion or an attraction, depending upon what that experience is. So we have to become very aware and to really, and that was the homework that I set out for you tonight. I hope each of you pick up that homework sheet. Where, this sense of bare attention now really needs to be understood thoroughly. Because when we're not opinionating, then there is this real discovery that's taking place. Rather than the self knowing what it's seeing and having more opinions about what it's seeing, it's this state of innocence. Bare attention is the state of innocence. The state of innocence is by definition selfless. So to encourage and to get aware of in a very refined way as to whether our attention is carrying some contaminated thoughts or whether it's absolutely pristine and innocent. And begin to notice that in your sittings and just throughout the day. So that's the first quality. The second quality is the state of is radically letting everything be. I don't know how to frame this thing, radical allowance or radical acceptance perhaps, but I like radically letting things be itself. Now this is not the sense of self, again, what the sense of self won't let anything be. It imposes its own ideas upon virtually everything and then tries to manipulate life according to not what it is, but according to what it wants it to be. And that's the source of all the anxiety and pain associated with our life, is that form of manipulation. So when we start working with these exercises, it's very important for us to just allow an absolute, this is an absolute, just allow everything to be exactly as it is. So let's just look at what meditation looks like when we let it be exactly as it is. We let our minds be exactly as they are. There is nothing outside of reality. We let all of reality be exactly as it is, and nothing exists outside of reality. So, regardless of how reality is manifesting in any particular moment, our job is to completely free that up to be itself. Ignorance, confusion, disorientation, stubbornness, impatience. I don't know if I've hit your button yet, but bring your button forward, because can you let that one be? And this is radical. I can't say it in any more absolute terms. We simply are stopped dead with whatever is occurring. And that's true discovery. That is when life is revealing itself to you full impact, 100%. That's the eye that's absolutely open and just being fed. And this sense of presence then begins to grow in accordance with that eye's perception. That eye is the entire, and I don't mean I as an eye, I mean EYE. That observation, that awareness, starts moving beyond the centrally located sense of me, who is the mindful person, and starts opening up its doors in far-reaching dimensions. We start sensing that this sense of being seen exists outside of the mind, that the body itself is being held within this observation, in this awareness, in this presence. And what we do is, since we just release the boundary between that presence and the body, and we keep releasing the boundaries between presence and where we're located within presence, and pretty soon there is just presence. Just presence. This is how it works. This is how it works. As you go through these exercises, what it will reveal is that life is very differently than how I've determined it to be in the past. My body's very differently. There's no boundaries to my body. My mind is very different than what I had thought it to be. This whole body, mind, everything is very different than what perceptions, everything changes. And with that, there's an all-embracing awareness that steps in to fill the void. It's not empty. It's only empty of me. It's not empty. There's something there. Just feel it. I can't point you there in words because the words take you from it. But if we just quiet down and let these exercises work to unlock the door of what is already naturally there within, all along the way we have a greater and greater perception of something that's astoundingly obvious when we begin to notice it again and again. Oh, of course, we'll say. And resting in that, of course, is really where the practice takes us. May it be for all of us. Can we just sit for a minute or two? I feel like I gave you a lot of stuff. So sit and let the stuff out. Just to be quiet. Just to be quiet. Ask yourself if you want to go in this direction, because maybe these meetings aren't what you want. Maybe this isn't the way you want your spirituality to go. Maybe you want it to be self-embellished. Maybe you want to be, I don't know. Or is there something in your heart that pulls you in this direction? That's not for me to answer. But you should feel drawn It shouldn't feel like a should. There's no whip in this. Well, if I had it together, I'd want to do this, but I really don't. Then obeying the bottom line of that, just feeling the resonance or the lack of it. It's okay, so.
अभी मैंने बीच में थोड़ा रोक दिया है क्योंकि आगे थोड़े इनके कुछ कमेंट्स हैं और शायद उतने यहाँ आवश्यक नहीं होंगे, तो इसका संक्षेप में कोशिश करता हूँ हिंदी अनुवाद करने की। सारांश ही फोकस करते हैं। आप ये शुरुआत इससे की कि ये जो सूत्र है इसमें अगर हम एप्लीकेशंस पे फोकस करेंगे, इसमें बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशंस हैं। उन्होंने 16 कहा, एक्चुअली बहुत ज़्यादा है, उससे 20 से भी ज़्यादा हैं जो एक्सरसाइज करने की हैं। और अगर उस पर करते हैं, एक्सरसाइज करने शुरू कर देते हैं बगैर प्रॉपर गाइडेंस के और विजडम के, तो क्योंकि हमारी आदत बनी हुई है कुछ ना कुछ करने की, तो हम कुछ करते रहते हैं और वो करना ही अपने में एक सेल्फ फुलफिलिंग हो जाता है और हमें पता ही नहीं चलता कि हम किस डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हैं। क्योंकि इस सूत्र का उद्देश्य सारा है ये है कि हम आत्मभाव से अनात्मभाव की ओर चलें। और अगर हम एक्सरसाइजेस को अपने तरीके से अपनी एक पहचान बनाने के लिए करते रहते हैं तो हमारा आत्मभाव बढ़ता जाता है, तो हम अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हैं। तो उन्होंने एक उदाहरण के तौर पे बताया कितने हम लोग डूइंग में बिज़ी रहते हैं कि उन्होंने अपनी क्लास में एक एक्सरसाइज दी थी, क्योंकि वो हमेशा हर टॉक के बाद एक होमवर्क देते हैं कि भाई आज जो है अगले हफ्ते का होमवर्क किया है कि जब भी कुछ करो तो एक समय पे एक ही चीज़ करनी है। तो लोग वापस आए तो अधिकतर लोगों ने कहा ये बड़ा मुश्किल है, आप हमसे सांस देखने को कह दो हम देखते रहेंगे, वॉकिंग करने को कह दो वॉकिंग मेडिटेशन कर लेंगे, लेकिन एक समय पे एक ही काम करें, एक काम के साथ दूसरी चीज़ें होती रहती है, मन में कुछ चलता रहता है, ये चलता रहता है। तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये एक हमारे लिए एक वेकअप कॉल है कि हमारे मन जो है कितना ज़्यादा डूइंग में बिल्डअप रहता है, क्योंकि उस डूइंग से हमारी इमेज बनती रहती है। जबकि सती पठान की जो एक्सरसाइजेज हैं वो फ्रीडम के लिए हैं, ना कि अपने आप को सेल्फ कंपल्शन में डालने के लिए, जो हमको बताने के लिए कि यहाँ आत्म नहीं है और एक शून्यता की तरफ ले जाने की बात है। कई बार हम ऐसा सोचते हैं कि साधना करते रहेंगे तो और अच्छा पर्सनालिटी इम्प्रूव होती चली जाएगी, और जैसे इम्प्रूव होती चली जाएगी तो धीरे धीरे इतनी इम्प्रूव हो जाएगी कि हम अवेकन हो जाएंगे। कहते हैं ये एक भ्रम है बड़ा भारी, जिससे हमको बचना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम अपनी सेंस ऑफ डूइंग से आत्मभाव से मुक्त नहीं हो सकते। ये समझना पड़ेगा कि जो हमारा वास्तविक स्वरूप है, बुद्धा नेचर कह लीजिए, अवेकन स्टेट कह लीजिए, वो अपने आप स्थित है, वो हम मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं कर सकते। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि हम पर्सनालिटी इम्प्रूव करके वो वाली स्टेट ले आएँ जो कि हमारी नेचुरल स्टेट है, क्योंकि सारे एफर्ट जो हैं वो हमको उससे अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में ले जा रहे हैं। तो उन्होंने एक्सरसाइज के रूप में भी कहा आप प्रतिदिन आप दिन भर कुछ बीच में रुक जाइए काम करते हुए और देखिए, इन्वेस्टिगेट करिए आप क्या कर रहे हैं, किस विचार से काम कर रहे हैं, किस परिस्थिति से काम कर रहे हैं, और जब रुक जाएं तो शांत हो जाएं एकदम और एक्सेस करें अपने शांत चित्त को, अपने अंतर की शांति को, और फिर उसके आधार पे शांत चित्त से देखिए कि क्या हो रहा है, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, क्यों कर रहा हूँ, इतना मारामारी क्यों है जीवन में। तो उन्होंने बताया कि ये जो सारी सती पठान है ये एक तरह से जीवन की दृष्टि बदलने का तरीका है, एक पैराडाइम चेंज करने का है। तो अधिकतर लोगों को लगता है कि ये धीरे धीरे ही करना हो होता है, लेकिन कोई आवश्यकता नहीं कि धीरे धीरे ही हो। हम अगर ठीक से समझ के काम करेंगे तो एक तरह से अपना नया जीवन देने की बात है कि हम एक तरह से सोचते आ रहे हैं सारा सा जीवन कि वो किसी तरह से बाहर की वस्तुओं को, सब परिस्थितियों को बदला लें, सुधार लें, तो हम खुशी अपनी बढ़ाती रहेंगे, प्रसन्नता बढ़ी जाएगी। लेकिन ये भूल जाते हैं कि वो सारी जो परिस्थितियाँ बदलने से चीज़ें आती हैं वो सब अनित्य हैं, भूल जाते हैं, और वो दुख का मार्ग है, ये बात हम प्रायः भूल जाते हैं। तो इन सतिपत्थान की एक्सरसाइज को सिर्फ एक्सरसाइज ना मानना चाहिए, बट ये जीवन जीने का तरीका है। जैसे योगा जब हम करते हैं तो उसको अगर हम फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज के रूप में करेंगे तो बहुत कम लाभ होगा, अगर उसको एक जीवन जीने का तरीका समझेंगे तो बहुत लाभ होता है। ये उम्मीद करना कि हम अपनी पर्सनैलिटी भी बनी रहे हम और मैं जाके एनलाइटन हो जाऊंगा, ये संभव नहीं है। क्योंकि इस एनलाइटनमेंट के लिए मैं का भाव छोड़ना है, एक ह्यूमिलिटी लानी है अपने में। हम अपने आप को अपने थ्रू, एफर्ट के थ्रू निकल पाएंगे अपने जंजाल से, वो संभव नहीं है। कि अब सेल्फ वर्किंग टू एक्सट्रिकेट इट सेल्फ, मतलब हम अपने आप को इस मैं के भाव से निकालना ही संभव नहीं है। और सारे अध्यात्म का एक्चुअली उद्देश्य वही है। और कई आध्यात्मिक ट्रेडिशन तो कहते हैं हो ही नहीं सकता है, और शायद हिस्ट्री में पहली बार भगवान बुद्ध ने ऐसा कहा कि एक तरीका है जिससे धीरे धीरे आप उस तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं। तो यही सचमुच में भगवान बुद्ध का गिफ्ट है, जिसको हमको ठीक से समझना चाहिए। और उन्होंने फिर आजकल की जो माइंडफुलनेस एक्सरसाइज है उसके बारे में भी चर्चा की कि जो माइंडफुलनेस का चलता है ये, उसमें भी एक आत्मभाव चला रहता है। हम अपने माइंडफुलनेस करके हम अपने टेंशन कम कर लेंगे, हम अपने स्ट्रेस कम कर देंगे, कॉग्निटिव थेरेपी करेंगे तो हम डिप्रेशन कम हो जाएगा। इस सब में आत्मभाव बना रहता है। तो वो बीमारी के लिए हो सकता है ठीक हो, लेकिन दुख मुक्ति के लिए वो तरीका ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि उसमें आत्मभाव बना ही रहता है। क्योंकि उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया कि सती जो है, माइंडफुलनेस जो है, एक तरह की रोशनी है जो रोशनी डालता है जिसको भी आप अटेंशन देते हैं। लेकिन उस रोशनी से क्या दिख रहा है उसको आपको समझने के लिए विजडम की ज़रूरत है, इन्वेस्टिगेट करना पड़ेगा। नहीं तो आप उसको देखेंगे उसी तरह से, अपने पुराने तरीके से ही देखेंगे, शरीर है, शरीर मेरा है। तो उसको जिस तरह से इस एक्सरसाइज का उद्देश्य है कि शरीर को कैसे देखना है, वो बात नहीं समझ में आ पाएगी। तो हमको जो बेसिक अजम्पशन है हमारे जीवन की, उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करना चाहिए। क्या हम अपने आप को क्यों नहीं देखना चाहते? ये लाइट सिर्फ बाहर नहीं जा रही, लाइट अंदर जा रही है कि हम अपने आप को ठीक से जानें। अधिकतर लोग अपने आप को जानना नहीं चाहते, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि अपने भीतर जो विचार हैं, जो गलत विचार हैं, गलत वासनाएँ हैं, मन स्थितियाँ हैं, अनुशय क्लेश हैं, वो हमको बहुत परेशान, उसको एक मॉन्स्टर की तरह समझते हैं। तो जब तक आप उस मॉन्स्टर को देखेंगे नहीं, तब तक कुछ होने वाला नहीं है। तो और अगर हम ये समझ रहे हैं कि आत्मभाव जो है सत्य नहीं है, तो कुछ सत्य तो होगा, उसको भी हमको एक इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट करना चाहिए होगा। तो अगर इंटरेस्ट होगा तभी हम उस डायरेक्शन में बढ़ पाएंगे। नहीं तो एक्सरसाइजेज जो हैं एक सिर्फ मात्र मैकेनिकल रह जाती हैं। जैसे शरीर है, वो क्या है? क्या आप ठीक से जानते हैं शरीर क्या है? उसको जैसे जो 32 पार्ट्स वाली एक्सरसाइज, उसका उद्देश्य है कुछ, उस उद्देश्य को समझना चाहिए। वो अपने में पार्ट्स गिनना और उनका नाम जानने से काम नहीं होगा। इसी तरह उसमें उन्होंने कोई एक उदाहरण दिए, जैसे कुछ ये एक्टिव एक्सरसाइज हैं जैसे 32 पार्ट्स वाली, कुछ पैसिव हैं जिसमें चॉइसलेस ऑब्जर्वेशन करनी है, कोई एक्सरसाइज ऐसी भी हैं जिनसे अटेंशन को स्टडी करना है, जैसे आनापान वाली बात है, चित्त को शांत करना है। तो कई बार लोग चित्त को शांत करने में ही इतना भ्रम में ला जाते हैं कि अरे यही तो चाहिए हमको, चित्त शांत हो गया और क्या चाहिए। वो बेसिक टीचिंग भूल जाते हैं कि चित्त की हर स्थिति अनित्य है, वो बदल जाएगी और वो दुख का कारण ही बनेगी। तो जो भगवान ने फिर ये क्यों सिखाया? वो इसलिए सिखाया कि जब तक चित्त शांत नहीं होगा तब तक आप ठीक से देख नहीं पाएंगे। तो चित्त शांत करने का उद्देश्य भी देख पाना है, ना कि वो अपने में ही एक उद्देश्य है। जैसे एक और एक्सरसाइज है, जब आप खड़े हैं तो सिर्फ जानिए कि खड़े हैं, जब लेटे हैं तो जानिए कि लेट रहे हैं। ये भी एक तरीका है मैं के भाव को कम करने का, अगर आप उसको ठीक से देखें तो। एक और एक्सरसाइज है जिसमें आपको कहा जाता है चित्त में जो कुछ भी हो रहा है उसको देखते रहिए। गुस्सा आ रहा है, वासना जाग रही है, बेचैनी जाग रही है, तो बड़ा अजीब सा लग सकता है शुरू में, लेकिन उसका एक बहुत भारी महत्व है मैं के भाव को तोड़ने का। इसी तरह जो चार्नल ग्राउंड, जो शमशान की क्रियाएं कराई जाती हैं, वो इसलिए है कि जो हमारा शरीर के प्रति आकर्षण है उसको कम किया जाए। वो अपने में एक गोल नहीं है। और सबसे बड़ी जैसे एक्सरसाइज है वेदना की, कि जो वेदना है तो वो कहते हैं भगवान बुद्ध ने खुद देखा कि मैं भी सारा जीवन सुखद वेदना के पीछे ही दौड़ता रहा हूँ, तो किस तरह से वेदनाएं हमारे जीवन को कंट्रोल कर रही हैं, वो इन्वेस्टिगेट करने की बात है, वो हमको समझना चाहिए। तो हर एक्सरसाइज के पीछे अनात्म भाव है, लेकिन अगर हम उसको देखेंगे नहीं ठीक से तो फिर मशीन की तरह काम करते जाएंगे। दो बातें उन्होंने बताया जो हम जानते हैं बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। एक तो है बेयर अटेंशन, कि जो जैसा है वैसा ही देखना है, उसमें अपने विचार, अपने ओपिनियन, अपने वो सब उसमें जोड़ने नहीं है। और दूसरा है कि जैसा भी हो रहा है उसको एक्सेप्ट करना है, जैसा भी हो, किसी भी तरह का मन में विचार आ रहा है, किसी भी तरह की विकार जाग रहा है, चाहे इग्नोरेंस है, चाहे कन्फ्यूजन है, चाहे इम्पेशंस है, उसको भी हम एक्सेप्ट करेंगे। तो इट्स रेडिकल एक्सेप्टेंस। उसको ये नहीं कि उसको देख के बदलने की कोशिश करेंगे। तो जब तक हम ऐसे इन दो बातों का ख्याल नहीं रखेंगे तो हम आगे जो सती है, जो हमारी मैं के आधार पे बेस्ड अवेयरनेस है, उससे शुद्ध अवेयरनेस की तरफ नहीं जा पाएंगे। और ये सब एक्सरसाइजेस सिर्फ उसी डायरेक्शन में हमको ले जाती हैं। और फिर अंत में उन्होंने कहा कि ये सब आपको इतना अलग लग सकता है, तो आपको सोचना चाहिए कि आप इसको इस डायरेक्शन में जाना चाहते हैं। अगर आप जाना चाहते हैं तभी आगे आइए, नहीं तो कुछ अगर आपको लगता है कि जो सामान्य जीवन जैसे जी रहे हैं वही ठीक है, उसी की परिस्थितियां सुधार के हम अपना जीवन सुधार लेंगे, इस दुख से मुक्ति पा लेंगे, तो शायद सती पठान की आप लोगों को ज़रूरत नहीं है। वो भी उन्होंने अंत में ऐसा भी कहा। हम ब्रह्म विहारों की साधना करेंगे। 2 मिनट थोड़ा मैं शांत हो जाता हूँ। पहले रोज़ की तरह मैत्री ब्रह्म विहार। मंगल मैत्री के लिए सर्वप्रथम अपने प्रति, क्योंकि हम भी कभी न कहीं द्वेष से रंजित हो जाते हैं, किसी के प्रति रोष आ जाता है, आजकल के वातावरण में चिंता जाग जाती है। तो अपने प्रति भी मैत्री कि हम वैर से मुक्त हों, दुर्भावना से मुक्त हों। वैर से मुक्त होंगे तो मैत्री अपने आप जागेगी, दुर्भावना से मुक्त होंगे तो सद्भावना जागेगी, चिंता से मुक्त होंगे तो प्रसन्नता जागेगी। तो उसके लिए जो वर्सेस हैं वो चैंट करते हैं। अहं अवेरो होमि, अव्यापंजो होमि, अनिगो होमि, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरामि। और अपने प्रियजनों को मन में याद करके, चाहे उनका चित्रण अगर हमारे मन में हो सकता है, उसको चित्र को याद करके, माता पिता, भाई बहन, मित्र, हमारे आचार्य, सहधर्मचारी जो हमारे साथ साधना करते हैं, उन सभी के लिए भी ऐसी ही शुभकामनाएं। मम माता पितु आचार्या च ज्ञातिमित्ता च सह ब्रह्मचारिणो च अवेरा होन्तु अव्यापज्जा होन्तु अनिगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब रक्षक देवताओं के, चारों दिशाओं के जो देवता हैं उनकी प्रति भी मैत्री का भाव, ताकि वो भी हमारे प्रति मैत्री का भाव ही रखें। आरक्षा देवता, भूमट्ठा देवता, रुक्षट्ठा देवता, आकाशट्ठा देवता, अवेरा होन्तु, अव्यापज्जा होन्तु, अनीगा होन्तु, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब मैत्री को अनंत और अपरिमित स्वरूप में, जो उसका वास्तविक स्वरूप है, सभी प्राणियों के प्रति वही शुभकामनाएं, चाहे वो प्राणी किसी भी लोक में हो, किसी भी रूप में हो। सब्बे सत्ता, सब्बे पाना, सब्बे भूता, सब्बे पुग्गला, सब्बे अत्ता भाव परियापन्ना, सब्बा इत्थियो, सब्बे पुरुषा, सब्बे अरिया, सब्बे अनरिया, सब्बे देवा, सब्बे मनुष्या, सब्बे विनिपातिका, अवेरा होन्तु, अव्यापज्जा होन्तु, अनीगा होन्तु, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। किताब दे। अब करुणा ब्रह्म विहार। इस समय दुख का अपरंपार दुख चारों तरफ, हम लोग भी घरों में बंद, हमारा दुख तो बहुत थोड़ा, उसके सामने जो अस्पतालों में रोग से जूझ रहे हैं, जिनके हज़ारों लाखों ऐसे लोग विश्व में जिनके परिजनों का निछोह हो चुका है रोग के कारण, लाखों लोग बीमार, और भी नाना प्रकार की आकस्मिक विपत्तियां भारतवर्ष में आई पिछले दिनों में, तो दुख ही दुख है। तो आए सब मिलके दुख मुक्ति के लिए कामना करें। सम्यक संबंधों के प्रति अपनी श्रद्धा को व्यक्त करते हुए शुभेच्छा करें कि उन सब के प्रताप से ये कष्ट सबके दूर हो, रोग दूर हो। तो जो चैंटिंग है आटा नाटिया सुत्ते के पाठ की, वो वाली करते हैं। वचसा मनसा चैव वन्दामि ते तथागते, शयने आसने ठाने गमने चापि सर्वदा, सदा सुखेन रक्षन्तु बुद्धा सन्ति करातुवं, ते हि त्वं रक्षितो सन्तो मुक्तो सर्वभयैः च, सर्वरोगविनिमुक्तो सर्वसन्तापवर्जितो, सर्वशैरमतिकन्तो निवृतो त्वं भव, तेषां सच्चेन शीलेन कान्तिमिताबलेन च, तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च, पुरत्तमस्मिन् दिवसाभागे सन्ति भूता महिद्दिका, तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च दक्षिणस्मिन् दिशाभागे सन्ति देवा महिद्दिका तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च पश्चिमस्मिन् दिशाभागे सन्ति नागा महिद्दिका तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च उत्तरस्मिन् दिशाभागे सन्ति यक्षा महिद्दिका तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च पुरत्रट्ठो दक्षिणेन विरुलको पश्चिमेन विरूपको कुबेरोत्तरं दिशं चत्तारो ते महाराजा लोकपालाय सस्सिनो तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च आकाशट्ठा च भूमट्ठा देवानागा महिन्दिका तेऽपि त्वम् अनुरक्षन्तु आरोग्येन सुखेन च सभीतियो विवर्जन्तु शोकरोगो विनश्यतु मा ते भवतु अन्तरायो सुखी दीर्घायुको भव। अब कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन सबके प्रति जो इस विषम परिस्थिति में, कठिन परिस्थिति में भी सेवा कार्यों में लगे हुए हैं। नाना प्रकार की सेवा, डॉक्टर लोग, नर्स लोग, पैरामेडिक स्टाफ, पुलिस में सिपाही, ऑफिसर्स, सफाई कर्मचारी, सभी आवश्यक वस्तुओं और सेवाओं को चालू रखने वाले लोग, हम सब तो घर में बंद हैं और वो सब बाहर जाके सेवा कर रहे हैं। उन सब के प्रति कृतज्ञता, आभार, धन्यवाद। हाँ, उन सब के साथ अपने पुण्य साझा करें ताकि वे सुरक्षित रहें, स्वस्थ रहें, प्रसन्न रहें। इस शुभेच्छा के साथ पुण्यस्य इदानि याना अन्यानि कथानि मे ते संच सभागिनो हन्तु सत्तानन्तपमानका। अमूल्यता ब्रह्म विहार चित्त को बैलेंस करने के लिए और उन सब की खुशी में ज्वाइन करने के लिए जो प्रसन्न है, रोग से मुक्त हो गए हैं, घर में और कारणों से प्रसन्नता है। अगर किसी को पर्सनली जानते हो तो उनको याद कर सकते हैं, उनकी खुशी में मन से सम्मिलित हो सकते हैं और ये शुभेच्छा कर सकते हैं कि उनकी खुशी बनी रहे, कोई व्यवधान ना आए, सुख संपत्ति बनी रहे, उनसे बिछो ना हो सुख संपत्ति का। यथा नन्दा संपत्तितो मा विगच्छन्तु। अब उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार, सभी ब्रह्म विहारों को समत्व में रखने का, ताकि दुख से हम व्यथित ना हों, सुख में एक्साइट ना हों, मैत्री में एक्सपेक्टेशन ना बना लें, मैत्री भाव अटैचमेंट में ना कन्वर्ट हो जाए। इसके लिए उपेक्षा, और उपेक्षा बनाने के एक ही तरीका, हमारी प्रज्ञा जागे, सत्य को ठीक से देख पाएँ, यथाभूत ज्ञान दर्शन हो, हर चीज़ प्रकृति की अनित्य है ये समझें, और लोकीय सम्मादिट्ठी के रूप में कर्म सिद्धांत का समझना आवश्यक, ताकि मन में द्वेष न जागे लोगों के प्रति जो अपेरेंटली हमारे दुख का कारण है। का कम्मदायादा कम्मयोनि कम्मबन्धु कम्मपटिसरण यं कर्मं करिष्यन्ति कल्याणं वा पापकं वा तस्य दायादा भविष्यन्ति। और लोकोत्तर सम्मादिठी, जब ठीक से हम चार आर्य सत्यों को पहचान पाएंगे, यो आर्य सच्चा न वेच्च पश्यति, ताकि दुख का कारण अपनी तृष्णा को ही जाने और फिर अपने मन के ऊपर काम करके तृष्णा को छोड़ने का काम सीखें। तो हम सब सम्यक दृष्टि में स्थापित हों, वही एक सुख से जीवन जीने का मार्ग है। तो आए सब शुभेच्छा करें कि सभी लोग सुखी हों, सम्यक दृष्टि हो। सर्वे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु, सर्वे होन्तु चखेमिनो, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा किञ्चित् पापमागमा, मा किञ्चित् शोकमागमा, मा किञ्चित् दुःखमागमा। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु मे। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्त अभिवादेमि। साक्षातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि।